What's up, guys? Welcome back again to Tamara Recipes. Now today I'm going to show you how to make some amazing Jamaican Callaloo Loaf. They were so soft and delicious, guys, and I know you're gonna enjoy the recipe. So if you do, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, click subscribe for more amazing video. Let's get started. So here I have some melted shortening. To the shortening I added a teaspoon of vegetable oil. So here I have my milk powder. Now the milk powder is optional, but it do adds that nice flavor to your loaf. Alright, I have some sugar. I have about 3 teaspoons of sugar. I also have my instant yeast, and I have some lukewarm water. You don't want the water to be hot and you don't want it to be cold. Alright, so first I'm gonna mix my sugar with the yeast and the water. Alright, and I'm gonna set it aside for about 2 minutes. So in the bowl I have some baking flour. Now I do like to use the baking flour. If you can't get bread flour, guys, you can find baking flour, you can use it. If you can't get the baking flour, then use bread flour. If not, you could use the all-purpose flour if you can't get any of them. But the baking flour, guys, and the bread flour work perfectly. Alright, you will get good results with the all-purpose flour. It's just that you would have to knead for a longer time. So I'm gonna just set it aside and let them mingle together for about 2 minutes. Alright, so I have my salt. You want to add enough salt, because if you don't add enough salt, then the dough not gonna have any flavor. Alright, so I'm gonna just add my milk powder, and that is 3 teaspoons of milk powder. So you just want to add it in there, and then you want to give them a nice little mix. Alright, so after doing that, I'm gonna just mix to combine all the dry ingredients together. But sometimes I do add the yeast to the flour mixture as well, but bear in mind that the yeast do love sugar, so I do like to add it together with the sugar. Alright, so now I'm gonna add the shortening and the vegetable oil to the yeast mixture, but I'm gonna be leaving back a small amount of the oil just to be used later on in the recipe. Alright, so now, guys, for the liquid, right, you could also use some milk, but normally I like to use the water. The water works fine for me, but if you're a person who like to use milk, then go ahead and use the milk. Alright, now this dough can get very sticky, so I like to just use a spatula to start mixing, and then I'm gonna go in with my hands. Alright, now it can be very technical, guys, to use your hand, the feeling of the flour on your hand. And then if you are using all-purpose flour, then you have to knead for a long time. So if you have like a stand mixer, then you could just use a stand mixer to mix, alright, to form the dough. Remember that each flour is different, so what if yours take more liquid than mine? That's fine. The greatest thing is that you get the concept. Alright, so because the dough was a bit sticky for me, I added some oil. Some of the oil I left over. So if it's very, very sticky like mine was, you could just sprinkle a little flour. Alright, so you just want to knead until the dough becomes stretchy and easy to work with. Alright, so mine was kneaded for about 4 minutes and it was like this. But normally when I'm using all-purpose flour, sometimes I knead for like 7 minutes before it becomes stretchy. Alright, so every flour is different, but for me, I recommend the baking flour or the bread flour. Alright, so you want to ensure that your dough is as stretchy as this before you put it to proof. Alright, so once you hold a part of the dough and you stretch it and it's not tearing, then you know the dough is ready. Alright, so I'm just gonna form it into a ball, and I'm gonna grease the bowl, and then I'm gonna cover it and put it to proof. Alright, so proofing the dough means that we want the dough to double or triple in size. Alright, so that's what I'm gonna be doing. So it normally takes like 1 to 1.5, sometimes even up to 2 hours, depending on the temperature. Alright, you just want to ensure that you put it in a very dark warm area. At this point, the dough double in size, so I'm just going to deflate the dough. Alright, deflate means that you remove the air from the dough. So we're gonna make some loaves, as I said earlier, but I'm gonna make a small amount. But what if you like, a lot, or making for many persons, then you could always double or triple the recipe. So to a clean surface, you wanna dust some flour. Alright, now if you have a dough cutter, you could use it, but I don't have any, so I'm gonna do the old-fashioned way. Right, so I'm gonna use my knife to cut it. I also have another loaf recipe, so I'm gonna leave the link in the description box. Now guys, this recipe you have to practice. It's not, as you do it you're gonna get perfect, but once you follow these method, then you'll be fine. Alright, follow these steps and you'll be fine. So I'm just gonna be making 4, but what if you want to make them smaller? Or as I said, you can always double or triple the recipe. Alright, so just form them into a ball. My ball is not perfect, guys, because the dough was so flexible, guys. It was like, very flexible. So the more flexible the dough is, the harder it will be to work with. That's my opinion. So I'm just gonna roll this dough ball into the shape that I want it to be. I want to flatten it so I can add the filling. Alright, so I made my callaloo filling ahead of time, and it's cold. You don't want your callaloo to be hot. Alright guys, because it's gonna destroy the dough. So just make your callaloo cool and nice, and then you want to add like 2 teaspoons. Alright, you don't want too much. And then you're just gonna spread it out, and then you're gonna lift the opposite end to close the door. Alright, now it can be difficult, like for the first time doing this recipe, but just keep practicing. If you form one and it's not as pretty, then just keep forming. Alright, for me, the first one is always the ugliest for me. Each loaf you form, the better you'll become. Alright, so I'm gonna use a fork to seal the edges, because you don't want, as it bakes, all of that, callaloo and so on leak through the dough, so you want to ensure that you seal it. Also, when you're adding your callaloo, ensure that you don't place any liquid, like the callaloo juices, on the dough. Alright, so guys, I'm going to make another loaf so you can see how I do it. And as I said, it's nothing hard. You just want to ensure that you just follow the steps, and just keep practicing. Alright, so guys, I placed my loaves on a wire rack, and then I put it in a baking tray. Now once your wire rack doesn't have big spaces, then it's fine to bake your loaves on it. Alright, now if yours have big space, then as the loaves bake, they're gonna sink and go in between the spaces on the wire rack. Alright, so you don't want that, because it's gonna be difficult for you to remove them. Alright, now my size was fine enough. They're not going to sink as they rise into the spaces. So now I'm just brushing on some milk, then I'm gonna cover and let it proof for another 20 minutes. Alright, so guys, my loaves, they're all done, because I placed them so close, so when they rise, they join together. But that's fine for me. I needed a bigger wire rack to use, but I can easily remove them from each other. So I'm just adding some butter and the hot loaves, the butter give it extra flavor, and also it helps with like the softness of the top and the sheen as well. And these loaves were amazing, guys. They were so pillowy soft, they were so fluffy, they have a nice buttery taste to it. Oh my god, they were amazing, guys. Trust me. If you try the recipe, don't forget to comment down below and give me your feedback. Also share the video, guys. Even though they were hot, I had to break one and let you see inside. Alright, so bless up on yourself straight, guys. Show me some love, share, like, comment and subscribe. Bye, guys.